Okay, so today what we'll see, last class what we had discussed in installations and usage of the Git repo and all I just explained to you. And today we'll see how we create the branching. Okay, last class I had shown you to do the cloning of the repository and start working on the locally. Okay, clone the repository and start working on the locally. Today we'll discuss more on the branching part and then pull requests and all these things will work. We'll create branching in the locally as well as in the remote repositories, and we'll see how multiple people and multiple resources can work on those areas. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so last,
Just small doubt.
yeah, please.
After installing the Git, actually,
Mhm.
I have installed Git into my local machine, and I just try to create one folder. After giving right click, I can see two options: Git Bash and Git Extract here, something like that.
Yeah, Git Bash and Git Desktop, right? So I'll show
Yeah.
you what you have to do. Okay, Windows actually in Windows, in Linux and Mac machines, you'll not see like this kind of things because you'll not get the right click options, right? So in Windows, if you
Yes.
right click anywhere, so suppose any folder, you created a folder and you are going to work on those that folder, and you're going to make that folder as your project folder, okay, as a repository. So what you have to do, just right click it and do git bash. Okay, so when you do git bash, what will happen, it will uh, get one bash prompt, okay, self prompt, and that will be the working directory, present directory, pw. If you do the pw, the same folder will be, you'll be in the same folder. So if you do git init there, so that will make that folder as your repositories, okay, project repositories.
Okay.
Okay, and if you do Git
Okay.
desktop, so what will happen if you do Git desktop? What it will do? It will just make one GUI like UI from one desktop application. So you can work on that area. But I would suggest don't use Git desktop. Also, they have also a Git desktop for them. Okay, so if you just go GitHub page, right? One second. They have a very
Yeah.
good
Actually,
GitHub.
I tried in Git command tool. After installing, I can see one command prompt also installed Git command.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there I have tried.
Okay, okay. So they have actually GitHub desktop also. GitHub desktop there, it will actually say whatever the things you are doing, the command you are typing, right? Everything you will just do in the click.
Yes.
The
Yes.
local repository you are going to
Yes.
make us the same thing, but it will be Git desktop. I would suggest you don't use Git desktop because if you use that, you'll forget the commands. You'll not in the interview if you go, you'll not remember what you have to do and what are the commands you have to execute it, right? So better do practice. See, anyway, we have already a GUI format, that is the remote repositories. So we are going to work on that remote repositories on the button clicks, and the local repositories. Whenever you are going to work, use always git bash, and in git bash you just type the commands whatever you are going to use it. Okay. So
Okay. Sure.
yeah. So just let me just log into. Okay. And always try to create one small project and try to do multiple practices with multiple changes, multiple pull squash. Lots of things are there. Today we'll learn most of the things. Okay, and one second.
So it is always recommended to use AWS for connecting to Git and other thing because I don't have
No, no, no.
AWS account.
No, Bidu, actually what happened, I'm just getting a server. Anyway, I have locally installed the Git also, okay? Locally installed Git also in my MacBook, okay? So I can, if I do Git here, you can find it out. But I prefer like to create a server and just work on it, okay? So that is, I have kept separately for this training purpose, but I'm not using anything locally in the GitHub. Okay, if same thing, because the fresh way I'm showing you how to install it, work it, because I already it is installed in my MacBook. That's why I'm using a different new server to install Git and to work on that in the freshly. Suppose if you don't have this one AWS, that's fine. Okay, you can just install in your desktop or laptop, Windows laptop, right? If you have Windows, just install Git.
Yeah, I have already installed in the desktop.
Okay, that's great. You should not supposed to like if you don't have any AWS, you don't have to see. Ranjit Patnaik, what he did, he actually created two servers. So two virtual machines, cloud machines he created, and he started working as a two developer. So he'll get more ideas how it works. Okay, so
Oh,
better if you have some little ideas on AWS, you just go ahead and create EC2 instances, two EC2 instances.
actually, I was using AWS like no 1 year back,
Mhm.
but the account I believe it has been deactivated, and so
Don't use that
maybe that
account.
is the
Don't use that account.
sorry.
Don't use that account.
Uh,
That will not be in free tier. Just create a fresh account. Okay? Just create a fresh account. That will be free.
Suppose if I'll create a phrase, it will take my same email address and
No, no, no.
again it will ask.
No, you cannot use the same email address. You have to use another different email address. Okay. You have to use different email address to create another account.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
But you can use the same mobile number, the same bank account, everything you can use, but only email ID should be different.
Different, na? Okay. Then I'll create because they are asking to pay the money because I paid already like 500 or something. But then again they're asking you pay more.
Yeah, maybe you might have done something like run some services, but you have noticed
I tried to stop all the service and I closed, but I don't know what was the issue. Then same thing is coming. So maybe, yeah,
okay.
I'll check later. Maybe someone can help from your team. It will be good.
Okay, sure, definitely. Anyways, you can just contact maybe Sivaram can help you. So
Okay.
okay, guys. So let me just quickly log into this server and we can start working on this. Okay. Okay. So last class we had created one simple file called module1.java. Okay. Okay. So let's create something and let me create. And if you see here, we had the master branch. Okay. We had the master branch. If you do git branch, see, if you use git branch, it will list out the branches you have created locally. Okay. So we can see only we have master branch, right? So what we'll do, we have to create new branch. Suppose another developer joined, okay, and he's not joined. He's going to work on some project, and he has to create his own branch and work. So never work on the master branch, okay. Never work or never edit anything in the master branch. It is a very risky thing. Though we have the versioning things, we can revert it back, but it is not the ideal way. It's not the right approach to work in the master branch always. You'll maybe your manager, your team maybe uh, tell you like don't use all in the master. Maybe bad impression you'll get it if you directly go and work on the masters. Okay, always work on the branch, then merge this branch. If the branch is success, then merge into the master. I'll show you how you can do today. Okay, so let's create the branch locally first. To create a branch, actually you have to use git -b and the branch name. Okay, so let me show you. So here to check the branch, to create the branch, you can just use git branch and the branch name. And if you want to do create a branch and to check out that one, you can use git checkout -b branch name. Okay, suppose if I want to do only git branch and the branch name, suppose I'm going to create a branch called dev slash 1.0. I'm just going because this is the dev version and I can just use dev. My name is Ranjit. I can give a short form dev rs slash 1.0. Okay, so you should not also differentiate with RS because this will be your local things. Okay, but when you are going to push into the repositories, remote repository, that will be globally available within your team. Not globally means out of your team. Within your team, everyone can see it. Suppose I gave as a dev-rs 1.0. Now, what I'm going to do, this is not looking good, so I can simply keep it as dev 1.0 and hit. So what happened? It created a branch now. It just created a branch, but still I am in the master branch. If I do git branch, I'm still in the master branch, but we have created another branch called dev 1.0. So suppose I'm going to work on the dev 1.0. What I have to do, simply do git checkout. Okay, git checkout dev slash 1.0. Okay, now what it says, switched to branch this one. So if I do here again git branch to list out here, you'll see, you can see the difference here, right? Now it is the star has come here and it has changed the color. So now I'm into dev 1.0 branch. If I do ls-l here, same files, same versions will be there in dev 1.0 as well. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, let me add a new file into this repo. Suppose I am going to work on another module. Suppose module2.java. Okay, let me just create it. Sorry, vi module.java. Set module2.java. Just something added. Now, if I do here, right, what will happen? Just I need to first, after you do some changes or create some file, what you have to do, you have to add it to the staging area. It will be now untracked. The Git cannot be tracked it, so it will be in the untracked area. Now you have to put it in the staging area. Staging area, you have to do just git add. You can you can you can give the file. You can give the file name or just give git add dot. Okay, git enter. Then what you have to do, git commit hyphen m, sorry, m message. This is for branch test, anything, hit enter. So one file is added now. Okay, it is committed. So the changes whatever I did the changes to the branch only, dev branch. Okay, dev 1 branch, I did the changes. So if I switch to the master branch, git master, if I do git checkout, git check out master. Okay, and now if you do ls-l, that file will not be there. See, in master branch the file is not there because the developer who is working on dev 1.0 and that is not yet merged to master branch. Okay, now to get the master branch up to date with the branch whatever, and remember guys, in real life you'll never merge the branch immediately after you finished your work. What you have to do, you have to test the branch either in Jenkins. Okay, either if you are working on Java or .NET or anything, you have to do the building of your applications of your project, right? If the build is successful, test is successful, then what you have to do, that is your working copy, working code. Then what you have to do, you have to merge that code to the master, and if you want to give that master to the developer to do the testing team or somebody to do the test, they can take the master branch and do testing. Okay, Now let me merge the dev branch dev 1.1 1.0 to master. Okay, so for merging we can use git merge. Okay, so let's see what is the command for that. Okay, so there are lots of things I am going to tell you today. One second, I have not added git merge here. Oh, git merge. Okay, it is in a different stage. Okay, it's to merge a master to master to branch. What you have to do? Git merge branch name and then master. This is the merging technique. Okay, so you have to merge. So when you are merging, whatever the content will be in the branch, it will be added into the master branch. Okay, so simply what you have to do, git merge, you have to give your branch name dev 1.0 to master. Remember this, some companies they'll be using as main master and some technique, some different approach. I told you some different approach you may be following in your company. Okay, one second guys, it's raining here. Close the door. Okay, now what we need to do here, simply do master, hit enter. What happens here? Updating and one file changed. So if I do here git branch, let's see which branch I am. I am into master now. If I do ls-l now, see the module 2 also have been added to master branch. Okay, so now we have merged the things to the master. Now we learn how to merge. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to push this. Suppose you worked on this branch locally, then what you can do, we can push that one to the remote repositories. We can push into that remote repository. So what we can do now, we can simply do git push, okay, origin master. Okay, so now what happens, we just pushed master branch, not at the dev branch. First let me push the master branch, then we'll push to the dev branch, we'll push dev branch to the remote repositories. Okay, okay, so here, so you have to give the token, right? So I forgot the token, or sorry, I had deleted my token actually. So let me create my tokens and keep it handy for some time for today's class. So you know how to create the tokens, and sorry. Okay. Okay, my token is generated. Let me copy it somewhere. Okay, so what we can do now, let's okay, just do that. Leave the code here, hit enter. Okay, so the master branch is now pushed to the remote. Okay, So if I go my remote repositories and check, go your repositories and okay, DevOps class repo. So it is updated 11 seconds ago. You can see here, module 2 is added into the master branch. We have only one branch in the remote. The dev 1.0 is still not yet pushed to the master, to the remote repository. So what we have to do, same things we have to do, but instead of master, we have to just give dev 1.0. Okay. So my branch also updated here. Okay. Now what are we going to do? Just refresh this one. See, we can have now two branches. You can see we have now two branches. Day 1.0, day 1.0 and master. We have now two branches added here. Master and day 1.0. Now we saw how we can work in the branching technique in the locally. So let me show you how we can work in the remote repository in the GitHub. Okay.
Ranjit, small dot here.
Yeah.
Actually, when I tried git push, I'm getting error. But when I tried git push minus u, I'm able to move the files from local to remote.
Okay, you can
But
use yes, Git. See, you can use Git push hyphen u also. 1 second. Let me show you what is the difference between two that. So if you do Git push hyphen help, okay. See, Git push you can use all. Okay, hyphen yeah, u. Where is hyphen u? Set upstream. So you can use hyphen u. All these commands options you can use that one. So when you pushed it, so you used git push and origin master. Suppose you used, right, and it was throwing what kind of error it was throwing?
some connection failed to remote request.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Authentication failed and the connection failed to that. Something the type of error I'm getting. So just I tried in Google, then I used git push minus u, then it
Okay.
able to connect successfully.
Yes, that's great. So at least you try to fix by yourself. Okay, guys, because you, whenever you just try to use any commands on anything, you will face lots of connectivity. See, in Git, in DevOps, in whenever you're using any tools, you'll face lots of issues to, lots of errors, not issues, lots of errors, and you have to try to fix that error by yourself. Use Google, because in my company also in everywhere we suggest people to, because we cannot remember everything in our mind, right? We have to follow something, either follow the documentations, because following the documentation it will be little bit difficult because you have to scan and search everything in the documentation. Just go for Google, you'll get multiple solutions for that and multiple options how you can use. Suppose you are searching for one thing, you'll get many things to know that this can be done by using that. That's the best approach to work. So don't, whatever I'm just telling you, don't use that only one single thing. Just try to explore more. If you just explore more, then you will get master on those areas, right? See, whatever things in written in the books and all, if you follow that one, you cannot go ahead. You will be there only inside the book. Try to come out from the box, do like the out of box thinking, right? Just try that one. Always try to explore the things. Always try to explore the things. Thank you, Venkat, right? Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do now, let me show you the things, the branching things in the remote repositories. Okay. So what we'll do, if I just go, sorry, if I, what is that? Okay. So if I go to the repositories here, DevOps class repo, you can see here the branches. So here how we can switch the branch. It is very simple. Just click on this, select. You can see here the branch list. Dev 1.0. You can switch it here. Now 1.0. Now suppose your team member is working on this branch and this is suppose the working copy. and this is the success copy. Master branch is the up to date, and it is the success copy. So this is the working copy. So always suppose tomorrow another person is coming, or you are going to work on the this project. So what you have to take it, if you are going to work on a different module, then you have to work on the success copy, the master copy. You take it and work on a different module. But if you are going to work with the person who is working on the same branch or working on the same project or same module, what you have to do? You have to just work on the working copy, which is the getting what the developer is working, and this is the success copy also, because the branch sometimes will be success copy. One more thing, if you are going to work on the same project, same file, same source code, you have to take the branch where which branch the developer working currently. Another thing, if this branch is a success copy also, is a working copy, means the product is working fine, then you have to take this branch as your working copy and you can start working on that. Okay, now how to create branch here? Suppose I want to create a branch from master. What I have to do? You have to select master first. Then suppose I am just going to create a branch here. Just give suppose dev slash 1.1. Just give dev slash 1.1. You can see here create branch dev 1.1 from master. So it will create a branch from master. It Now we can see here what option in the backend it used. It used git checkout hyphen b, the branch name. What happened? It created the branch and then checked out automatically. It created the branch and then checked out automatically. So here we can see dev 1.1 is created and we have now 3 branches. Okay, now let me create one more file in this dev 1.1. Okay, create the new file. So you know how to create it, simple. Just add files, just create new file. Okay. Now you will be thinking how we can create a folder inside the repositories, base repositories. Suppose I'm going to work on the network model, something the networking module, or something so mobile module or something I'm going to work. So I can just create a folder for that. Suppose a subfolder, right? Suppose I will give network something I get. Then if you give slash, just give slash. See, it created a folder here. Now you can find, you can just give us network dot, sorry, network module underscore network module dot java. Anything, just write it here. Okay, just created a simple folder here and just commit, give some message here, whatever message you want to, and then comment. Okay, comment your file. See, if I go here this repo, I can see a folder created in dev 1.1. So if I switch dev 1.0, nothing will be there. Nothing will be there. So what I can do, suppose, let me go back to dev 1.0, sorry, 1.1, and we can see here one folder is created. You can just use this network, click, and you can find the module. You just, if you want to edit something, just click on this. You can see the icon here, edit this file, you can delete it. And what is this blame? There is a button called blame, right? This blame is something like if you are not happy with a developer, your friend, like you are jealous of him or if you are angry on him, then you can just blame this, hey, this guy has not written the good code, and you can just give a click on the blame, That means you are going to blame this guy. This guy has not written the good code, has written something wrong. Okay, so normally most nobody does blame and all. That's why I told in the beginning, if you are jealous of somebody, if you're angry on someone, if you're not good with the people, with the person who is working with, you can just blame him if he has written something bad. Okay, you can just blame it. Okay, okay, that's for this creating the branches and all. Okay, now how I can get this branch dev 1.1 locally? How can I do? I can use now git pull. Okay, I can use now git pull. Okay, git pull, and you have to just give the branch name that is called dev 1.1. Okay, so let me show you more on this git pull. Git pull. Okay, so see, you can, what you can see here, you can just use git pull origin master. That means you are just pulling the master, or else you can just use git pull and git sorry, any branch if you want to pull. But now I'm not going to pull master because master is already up to date. I'm going to pull dev. So whatever things we are doing, git push origin master, same thing we are going to use git pull origin and the particular dev things. Sorry, here git pull origin and dev 1.1. I'm going to pull it. So now I pulled it to my locally. So any branch you are going to work and you want to get it from the remote repo, you have to use git pull and then start working. So what is the difference? There is actually called git fetch also there. Git fetch. That is a very good link. I have got it. That is, if you see difference between git fetch and git merge. Okay, git pull is a combination of the command. Git pull is a combination of two different commands. That is git fetch and git merge. It will just fetch it and merge it to the master. But when you use only git fetch, it will only fetch the data whatever is there in the remote repository. Now if I go here, so here what happens, we just fetch sorry, we just pulled this one. So what happened, when we pulled all the changes to 1.1, what will happen, it will be downloaded or downloaded from remote. It will be merged locally to the same dev 1.1, whatever the changes have been done. So when exactly you are going to pull now, suppose if you want to see here, let me show you the difference between fetch and pull. Now we have let me see what are the branches here locally. Now locally we have only two branches. Why? Let me first switch this branch. Get checkout dev 1.1. Okay, but it is not displaying it. Okay, now I checked out to, if I do git branch. Okay, so we have to check out then. First you have to pull and then check out to that. Then it is displaying the branches here. Now we have the dev 1.1 branch. I have added it here. So if I do ls-l, we can find this network module is added here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, if I just update something in this suppose network model, I'm going to update something. Git pull demo, something I just added another line. Okay, commit it. Okay, so once I commit it here, I can either use git fetch, git fetch. Okay, what git fetch does, it simply fetch the changes made in the remote repositories and keep in the local repositories. Then after you are getting into that, if you want to work something again locally, then you can work it and then merge it. Then merge it. Okay. But if I use git pull, whatever the changes been done in remote, it will just fetch the record and merge it automatically. That's why it says git pull is a combination of two different commands, git fetch and git. So I have a good document here. Let me just show you. Mm, follow this Atlassian Git site. There are much more you'll get to know on the Git. Follow this. Okay, Git fetch. Okay, what is this Git fetch? The Git fetch command downloads commits files and refs from the remote repository into a local repo. Fetching is what you do when you want to see what everybody else has been working on. It's similar to SVN update. Okay, now is okay. Okay, what happens? But it does not force you to actually merge the changes into your repositories. So you are just getting it to check whatever this branch somebody has else working, what the changes is done. You are not actually going to merge into your repositories. Okay, so what happens is Git isolates page content from existing local content. It has absolutely no effect on your local development work. Okay, if you want to go and check something, whoever has worked something, you are just going to fetch the details and work on that. But if you want to, so when downloading content from a remote repository, git pull and git fetch commands are available to accomplish the task. Okay, so let's see what the git pull does. Git, so this is actually the collaborating. It comes under the collaborating things, and it is a syncing mechanism. It is sync the codes from remote to locally. So what the git pull does, the git pull command is used to fetch and download content from a remote repository and immediately update the local repository to match that content, to match the content. So you may get a questions in the interview like, what is the difference between this? What will happen if you do git pull? What will happen if you git pull? So what it will do? It will fetch the data, fetch the records, fetch the content, and then merge into the local repositories and update into the local repositories. Okay, so how it works? See, there is. I would suggest you to follow this tutorial to explore more on the commands if you are going to be do mastery. Okay, so you just remove this and you will be into. Let me ping you this. Okay. Mm, in the chat you can and do a bookmark. Okay, and whatever things, whatever the good tutorial, good content you are getting from the internet, just try to bookmark everything, so that what will happen, you will be always like finding it out whenever is required, right? You will be bookmarked it. Now let's do this git tutorial and see. Okay, so they have a different tutorials here, different things, because see, don't see, we are not a developer and we are, everyone knows we are going to work on very limited commands only. So if you want to be master in Git GitHub, you can just go and follow this. But I would suggest follow whatever you need, whatever you need. See, whenever we are hungry or we are feeling hungry, we just go and get something, whatever is required for it to eat. We eat that one, that's all. That is our requirement. Based on this, because we are not a fully developer and we are not going to fully work on this one. But still, as a DevOps engineer, I told we have to work on GitHub things. But what we are exactly will use very limited commands, and you should be mastery on those things. So like git pull, git fetch, git push, git add, commit, merge, reset, reward, those things what we are going to use frequently, and you have to be master on those areas. Okay, follow this tutorial, follow this tutorial, and you'll find it out if you want to more on this git remote, git fetch. Okay, all these things you can find it out. Okay, here and try to just launch. See, they have given very good diagrams here and the commands and the commands, everything. Okay, lots of things they are here given here. Now, what we are going to learn, now we saw how we can just use this pull request and update it here. Let me show you one more thing. And suppose you want to, as I told you, you can just click on this delete button to delete this file. But how you will delete the, I will delete the branch. Just go to the main repo and you can see three branches over here, right? You can three branches over here. Sometimes what happens, once you work, you have to delete the branches, right? If you don't need those unnecessary branches, you have to delete it. Just click on this branch and you can see the options here. Delete. The master branch, it does not have a delete, does not have delete option here because you cannot delete this master branch. So for deleting the master branch, you have to delete the repository itself. You have to delete the repository itself. I'll show you a different way how to delete the repository. Now we can see here the branches. You can see, we have delete options over here. Okay. Now I have few projects here. Okay, I have few projects in my repositories. Suppose tomorrow you are going to work on any one of these projects. Suppose, because these are the projects which I am going to show you in Jenkins and Docker. That's why I have created lots of projects and kept it here. I'll show you. Suppose you are going to tomorrow work on this project. Okay. So what you can do, you cannot, as I made it public, you can easily use it, but it's always good to get this fork it to create different repositories on your name. So you have to simply click on this fork and it's asking where should I use to fork. I can use to create here. Okay, and then you can start working on this. I'm not going to do it now here. One more thing here, if you see this repository, let me show you the repository label first. In this repository labels, if you want to change or delete something, okay, just okay, suppose I am just going to delete any one of this project, suppose this one.
Ranjit, one question.
Yeah, please.
Okay, we have to be created multiple sub branches. Okay, for under master. So, for example, we created 3-4 files, some Java files, .txt files. From there, we are coding it. So, I want to see only for the .txt files, not the Java files under this master branch. Okay. So, is there any way we have to be ignored to some Java? Only I want to see the text. I don't want to delete it.
Yeah, so that is actually in the next slide. Next, I'll just explain you that is actually there is git ignore is there to ignore those things. That is the next. So today we are discussing about this pull and git branching things. So next we have actually in my plan I have this git ignore to ignore the files. Okay, so I'll just tell you how to do that. Okay. Um, Yes, we have. Okay, I'll tell you. So let me just list the other commands, the other useful commands what frequently we'll use, and then we'll move into this git ignore part. Okay. Now, guys. Okay. So what is the if you want to see any differences, you can just use git diff commit ID. Both of the commit ID if you want to give it, right? Suppose if I do git checkout master. Now I update it to the master. If I do git logs, I'll find the logs. Okay. Now see, if you want to see the what is the differences between these two, you just get this ID git diff between this and this. Then it will show you the entire difference what is done to this and that. Right. Just come out from that. And what else? Git diff is done difference between two commits. And if you want to move files back from staging area to working directory, suppose you are working on something, and again to delete a branch on locally you have to use -d options, git branch and d. I showed you how to delete a branch on the remote repositories. Then how to delete a branch and locally you have to use git branch hyphen d options. Okay. So suppose you are working on some file. You are working on suppose suppose let me check out to the network model check out to def 1.1. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to work on suppose module 2. I'm going to work on module. Anyway, this task I'll give to you, but let me explain all this. Then this task I'll give you, you will do by yourself at home. Okay. If you have done any changes to a file and you have added into the C, first if you do some changes, it will be in the unstaged area or untracked area. You have already put into the git add to add into the stage area, right? So that time if you want to go back, you can use git reset to make that to. And if you want to do some other further changes, if you want to add some further changes, you can do git reset, go back to the untracked file and then start working on that, and then git add. Anyway, if you will be working the git add here, it will also, like last class I showed you, it will give you the instructions immediately below, right? Suppose I'm going to work on this. This is git what example is it demo. Okay, so save it. Now I saved it here. If I do git status, what will show? Status, and here modi1 file is modified. Okay, what is saying next? What you have to do? See the process. If you're working on the git bash, it will give you the stage. What you have to do? You can just use git add, right, to add the staging area. Git add dot. Okay, so if you do git status again, it will show you if you want to revert the changes or go back, it will show you what command you have to use. Status. See, it's asking you to do git restore to unstaged area. Either you can use git restore or git reset, the same things. Git reset and git restore, the same things. You are going to use it here. So if I use git reset, what will happen? The file will be moved back from staging area to the again the working directory. That will move back again. What is the difference? You'll get questions, guys. What is the difference between git reset, git rebase, and git revert? These are mostly we will be working on git reset and git revert. I'll show you. But rebase we don't work on this. What happens? Reapplying commits on top of another base tips. If you want to reapply the commits from one branch to another branch tips, base tips, you can use git rebase branch 1 to branch 2. Okay, so officially there is a very good documentations of git official page. If I go to the git official page, let me just ping you also this link. You will get lots of good stuffs on the git rebase, how more you can use with the different. This is the git official page. Okay, git stm git hyphen stm is their official website, and this is the official page, and it gives all the details about how the rebasing rebase happens. Okay, rebase from master to the other topic, suppose the branch and all, you can just do that one. Okay, so what happens, if you just go here. See, if you go inside this, you'll little bit first things you'll get confused on that. Don't get confused. Just try to learn, try to see what they are saying. Okay, what Git reverse is done. If a branch is specified, Git reverse will perform an automatic Git switch, like it will automatically switch the branch before doing anything else. Otherwise, it will be remains in the same branch. If upstream is not specified, so in my here, it will be one will be downstream, and this one will be your upstream. If you want to rebase the branch 1 to branch 2, it will you have to give like this, downstream and upstream. Okay, this is three ways. So let me ping this link and you can use this one. Okay, let me quickly go to the other stuffs. Okay, so Ranjit was asking in the beginning, right? If you have done some changes committed and how you'll commit back, right? Sorry, get it to the and how you edit the commits and all. So what you can do, you can just use revert, git revert and the commit ID. So it is simple things. If I suppose I modified something here, right? Let me git add it here. Okay, I have added it here, and I have suppose git commit hyphen m git revert. I added some message. Okay, now I committed it. Suppose if when I committed, it gave me one commit ID, right? What happens if you want to see here git log, you'll get this is the, if you see here 283196E, this is the ID, and if you see here 283196E, if you can use this one, that will also work, or you can just copy this all entire string and it will work also. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I want to revert these changes, whatever the changes I committed now. I saw some messages are wrong or the commit is not good, and I want to revert it back. You can just use this and simply do git revert commit ID. Hit enter. And if you want to do some changes here, see, and just go to git revert demo class. Same thing. Then what happens? Then you have to uh, do save it here, right? Read file, write out, or text, paste text. This is that is write out, read file. Caret, where is the caret? Oh, caret. Oh. Function. Now it's typing here. Redo, exit. Recording a macro. Like guys, anybody knows how to come out from this? Nothing is.
I think do exit, escape exit.
Escape exit is not working actually. So if I type escape and exit also, it is just typing it here. I am into
Otherwise,
mode.
let me see the control to
Control X.
Control X. No.
Ranjit, Control C plus X.
Sorry.
You can Control plus O plus C plus X.
I got it. Save modified buffer.
Then you can
Got it. Okay. Now, fine. So I saved it. Now let's. Hmm. The experiment editing backup to file. Cancel. Control C. Control X. Okay. Okay. So what we can do, as I showed you, is just use git revert and then use the revert. Use the commit ID, which commit you want to change it. Okay. So you can just simply use this git revert and the commit ID. So you got it, Ranjit, right? You have to do in this way: git revert and then work on it.
How to come out from that screen actually?
So see, in my MacBook, actually, the command prompt, the keystroke, I did not find it out which keystroke it will be working. But you have to use cap symbol was there, right? Cap symbol. So if I do
Hmm.
git revert again, so let me just do git log first. So it did not change anything, right? So if I do git revert, it is just updated to a different ID, I think. No, 239C git branch, which branch I am, the 1.1. What it says, okay, your branch is ahead of origin. Okay, now what happens? I just added one commit, and when I revert changes this one, what happened now? I did not save it. I just simply came out. That's why what it says, your branch is ahead of origin day 1.1 by two commits. Use git push to publish your local commits. Use git push. I don't want to push this to my local commit. Okay, so suppose I want to report something here, like suppose this things I'm going to report it. Okay, let's see, git report. Okay, so what happens here, you can see below here, right? You can either use caret option, caret, or it is control X exit, or control read to read file and write out to save the file. Just press control O. I think let me change something here. Reboot, git reboot demo. uh, okay, I added the multiple things here. Escape, then control O. Okay, control O to save it, and then which format you want to keep it. You can just press mark format, press M. Okay, so it is a different way it is actually giving. So backup files, escape. um,
Ranjit, I used to do Control O plus C plus X.
Control O plus control, yeah. Now see if control A I saved it. Okay, control C. Okay, control X. That's good. And then yes.
Yes, I used to do that way.
Okay, control C, control X. No. Okay, so you have to use based on your keystroke, like you can use control O, control X, and control C. Okay, or something you can control O to write out, like to save the file and then come out. So this is git revert in the locally. So how we can do the changes, everything in the remote repositories? It is such a different way you can do in the remote repositories. So you just have to git repositories here. Any changes you do, and just revert it back. So what happens, see, day 1 point had a recent pushes 25 minutes ago. Okay, so all these messages you are getting it here. Go to day 1.1. Okay. And how you'll find out all the details, suppose in module 2, if you just check it, you'll find the history here. You can find latest commit ID, latest commit 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago. What is this? Oh, sure. This is a different one. Okay. So just click on this history, okay? And you can see here only one commit is there, right? Because I have not pushed everything from local to the remote repositories. I have not put anything from the local to remote repositories. That's why it is giving the same here. And here, if you see here, there are lots of other options are there. If you just click on this, you'll find the differences between all these, right? Just click on this. You'll find see here the difference. It as it is added only one thing, so it is having only one plus. Nothing changes have been done in this one. Okay, now let me show you something here. There is something called create a tag. If you want to create a tag, see. Um, as I told from the beginning, different company has a different approach, different structure of working. So if you want to create a tag to for any changes, or if you're going to do, first create a tag of that changes and try to work, and then after working on the tag, you can check out to the branch and update and merge into the branch. Okay, so what is this git tag actually does? Git tags creates a word tagging your branch. Suppose if you want to create a tag using the current branch, whatever the current branch you are going to work, just git create a tag. What will happen? It will just allow you and your fellow developer members to work on the same branch. You can create a different tag of the branch and start working on that. Once you're okay with that, you can just completely merge those everything to the current branch. Okay, so so this task actually I'm giving to you. I'll just share the documentation so you can just find it out and try to do this commands, do practice of this command, git tag, and I'll see how it is working. And here also the simple thing, updating a tag which is already existing tag, you can use git tag -a, and I'll share a link where you'll find all these commands. Okay, and then delete a tag, simple, use git tag -d and delete. Okay, and this is something when you are just pushing to see. When I push something from here, it is asking my uh, user ID all the time. For that, what I can do, I can just set the URLs. Okay, set the URLs to my local machine. So next time when I do git push, it will not ask me my repository details. So you can use git remote set URL. Okay, set URL origin and just give the URL details. So it will not ask you to give again and again. And this is the pull things. We already have discussed about this pull things. Okay, and push already we have discussed how to push and how to push all this. Now let's discuss about the git ignore, which Ranjit also was telling how to ignore those things. Suppose okay, in the first class when we created the remote repositories, I told you I just ignored to create the git ignore, right? Now let me create one file. It's called .git ignore in my mm, master branch. Suppose let me check out to the git checkout dev slash 1.0. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one file called .git ignore. So if I do ls-la here, nothing is there. So let me create, because that is .git ignore. What is this? First let me just explain you what is this, and then if you want to skip any file and not to be pushed into the remote repositories, then you can add the file name or the wildcard into the git. It's not fit ignore, it is git ignore. Okay, to the git ignore file. Okay, so this git ignore, you have to exactly write it down, dot git ignore dot in. Actually it represents as a hidden file. It represents as a hidden file. Dot git ignore. If you want to skip any files, you can write anything like this, star.cnv, star.db, or whatever the files, like which kind of files you want to save it here. The files which is sensitive files, sensitive file informations, like if you don't want to share your DB credentials or DB config details into the remote repositories, because multiple other developers will be working the same report and they might be access those areas. So you want to hide it. You want to keep it locally with you only. You don't want to share with the remote repository. So what you can do, you can just add git ignore. You can just add git ignore. So let me show you how we can do that quickly. Just create one file called vi dot git ignore. Suppose I'm going to create it here. Git ignore, the same format you have to use. Hit enter. And suppose I don't want to send any ini file or cnf or any config file or any credential file. Okay. Suppose star dot, sorry, star dot cred. Suppose this credentials file I'm not going to save it, send it somewhere. Okay. So let me just go through this. vi, I'm going to create one credentials file, my db, sorry, my db dot cred. Suppose I don't want this cred to be updated in my remote repository, or to be merged into a remote repository, to be sent into, pushed into the remote repository. So what we have to do, I have created one dot git ignore file. See, you have to use -la to see the hidden files. Okay, so I have this dot git ignore files. Let's see what is there inside. I have given star dot cred. That means what are the files starts with dot cred extensions will not be pushed into the remote repositories. Let me change this, do some changes, further changes. Let me create some more files, like blank files. I'm just getting touch. Git ignore test.cnf. So I created another file also. See, two files I created. One, see, this is also a test file, db cred and git ignore cnf. So let me just quickly do git add, okay, and then git commit -m. Okay, so I committed it. Let me push it. Okay, so okay, so to do that, I'll do that. This git URL setup. I can do this. You can just copy this set URL. Okay, set URL. Just give the repositories, what is the repository name, dot, sorry, git. Okay, hit enter. So my repository is now added. Now what I can do, git push origin master, control C. Okay, so I have to add another line also, right? Git remote add, and just keep the repositories name here. So remote already or exist. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do now, git push origin, not master. We am working on which branch? I'm working on, sorry, not this one, git branch. I'm working on 1.0. So I have to do git push origin 1.0, not master dev 1.0. Anyway, it's asking for the username. Okay, git for, check for git. Git for, so the token has changed now. So I have to just copy the token. Okay, now what happens? I just pushed the whatever the changes I have done, but I have created the git ignore file. That means I just made the git ignore instructions that it will ignore this minddb.credentials. So whatever the changes now I made it, I just go here and check my repositories. Let's see those things have been come or not. Okay, I'm into master branch. I want to go and check 1.0 here. See 1.0. See here. Is there any .cred file there? No. We have the CNF file which we created and the .git ignore file also there. But the credential .cred which we have the credentials is not updated into the remote repository. So whatever you want to do, you can add it. If you want these things is not required for my project and I want to ignore it, you can just ignore it, add everything into that and ignore it. Okay, and there are a lot of things we'll discuss. Okay, now this is what the git ignore does, and one more thing actually, this webhook, this I'll just teach you when we'll just work on the Jenkins. That time this webhook concept will come. I mean, remember, you may get questions on what is this webhooks. Webhooks can be triggered whenever a variety of actions are performed on a repositories or an organizations. For example, you can configure a webhook to execute a repository is pushed to or pull request or any page site is built. This time the get webhook actually is an API. It is an GitHub API. Whenever any changes happen to your repositories, git push, pull, fetch, anything you built it, that event will automatically triggered based on you set up in the your tools. That setup and the work I'll show you when we'll work on the Jenkins. That time it is required to trigger the build event. Whenever some developer pushes the code to the remote repositories, automatically an event will be triggered and then the build will be executed by using this webhook, and you'll get questions on this also in the interview. Okay, so what happens here, using this GitHub API, okay, using this GitHub API, you can make these webhooks update and external issue tracker trigger the CI. We'll see how it will be triggered the CI builds. Okay, all these things will need to do that. I'll show you in the Jenkins. Okay, guys, that's all for today. You just do the practice, whatever we just learned today. Try to do all the changes. There are a few things also left in the GitHub, which I'll show you to create the organizations and to create lots of things there, and how we can merge the things here in the GitHub. Okay, how we can merge the request. See, if you have to merge anything, just go to, okay, maybe in the tomorrow class, I'll just show you how we can do that one. And after that, maybe guys will just move into the Jenkins. Okay, what do you do? Just do practice whatever we learned. I'll share the documents with you, and whatever the links I have said, just go through, follow all these. Try to do practice, create more files, try to do all the changes, try to get the things. And there is also one thing which we'll discuss about this conflict, how to do the conflict troubleshooting and all. So that I'll show you maybe, and I left it on to you guys. So you guys just do whatever the changes you do and try to do some conflicts and all. Here some conflict things I have just created, how to fix the conflict issue if there is some conflicts happens. Okay, that also I have given it here. We can do this lots of things there. Okay, so don't worry, this is at the
Okay,
log.
that PDF, this one you are sharing to with us, this one, the command, everything what you did
The
there.
command, no, this one I'll not share you. I'll share you one link where you can find all these commands. Okay, I'll share you a
Okay,
link. Where you will find. I'll just WhatsApp all these links and with these videos. Okay, today.
okay, thanks.
Okay, guys. Maybe see you tomorrow.